no matter the location. From O-A-K-L-A to L-V, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? Let's get into this Raiders mailbag. If you're wondering how can I get my questions featured on the show, it's simple. Subscribe and join our live mailbags every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. That's how you get your questions on the show. First one's coming in here from Henry Lamberti. Any chance we re-sign Agholor after his comments? His comments were a good thing. I saw some people, I think they were outblown a little bit by media. Max Crosby came out and said that it was a little bit outblown. If you're getting mad at a guy for getting upset after blowing a loss like they did against the Dolphins, I don't know what you want. So if anything, I like Nelson Agholor more now after his comments. We got Shark Gaming. Would you trade for OBJ? No, I would not trade for Odell Beckham Jr. I've said it multiple times here. I'm not going to pay this guy $15 million over the next 3 years when I'm paying for his name. I mean, look at these numbers here. This is his first 3 seasons. This is the production he had with the Giants. This is elite. This is some of the best production, some of the best talent I've ever seen. 43 games, 457 targets, 288 catches, 25 touchdowns, 4,122 yards. What about the last 4 years, though? Plus, he just tore his ACL. He had a bad ankle injury and just doesn't have the same burst that he once did. If you can guarantee me 16 games, that's great. But I'm not paying a guy $15 million when he's averaged about 500 receiving yards or 600 receiving yards the last 4 years. Doesn't make a lot of sense for me, dude. Wow, what a name. Coochie Tamer. Should the Raiders draft Christian Barmore? Raiders. If he's available at 17, you're obviously going to be looking at it. I still think it's a little bit of a reach, though, because he's not quite a player that I would actually draft at 17. Does it fit a major need? Absolutely, it 100% does. But when I see a guy like Christian Barmore, he to me looks like a guy that could go at the end of the first round or early second. It's why I would love for the Raiders, honestly, to trade pick 17 and get maybe 2 high second-round picks or a low first and then a middle second-round pick, because there's a lot of players in that range that I really like. All right, Marcus Smith, what if we draft both Barmore and Marvin Wilson? So I've done a few mock drafts where I have done that. The only way, though, that I think that this happens is if you potentially miss on a guy like Leonard Williams, or if you miss on a guy like Dalvin Tomlinson, or if you miss on a guy like Shelby Harris in free agency. There's no doubt that you need to be able to build, especially on the interior. But I do like a guy who I think Barmore is more safe. Marvin Wilson, though, is a big roll of the dice. Kevin Downster, draft Wyatt Davis at pick number 17. So I've had this question asked to me multiple times because I saw an article from Bleacher Report that said that the number 1 prospect the Raiders should draft at 17 was Wyatt Davis. He's got great awareness, one of the smartest players on the football field, no doubt about that. Now, he's struggled a few times against edge rushers, but when you see him excel, it reminds me a lot of Richie Incognito. They're kind of different players, but the physicality that Davis brings, especially in the run game, is something that the Raiders could use. So if you see the Raiders move on from Incognito, which I anticipate they do, look for Wyatt Davis. However, drafting Wyatt Davis is something I would hold my breath on, because if you bring back Denzel Good, I don't know if you should go out and take Davis at number 17. But let me know, who should the Raiders draft at pick number 17? What do y'all think? Should it be defense? Should it be somebody on offense? I'm team defense. If you guys watched my video on the top players to draft at 17, 8 out of the 10 were defensive players. I like Wyatt Davis a lot, but he also suffered an injury in the national championship game, so I'm going to pump my brakes on him right now. Super chat from Harrison S. Hey, Mitch, what do you expect from a Bradley defense, and what do we get Mad Max on the D-line, more sacks? As always, Raider Nation for life. Well, you can expect some coverage. There's zone coverage, my mistake. He's going to play cover 3. It's what he does. It's his bread and butter. I know last year I believe it was like 46% of what he did was like basically zone cover 3. He's not going to blitz a lot. He's bottom in the NFL in terms of blitzing, I believe, over the last 3 years, so don't expect a lot of blitzing. But his packages are a lot simpler, and they're a lot easier to understand. And in terms of getting after the quarterback more, you need better edge rushers. You need better defensive help. It's as simple as that. Gio, what up? If we get Watson and have a good defense for Super Bowl material, what do you think? Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. If you have Deshaun Watson and you're a top 15 defense, you are a Super Bowl caliber team. It's just the issue is, are they going to be able to have a top 15 defense? I'm not very confident in them being able to do that But I think no matter what, if you get Deshaun Watson, you're a better football team, and that's something you need to look at and try to do. Because guess what? You will always want to be a better football team. Eduardo Gonzalez, what up? Jaelan Phillips is a must-go in the draft. I like Jaelan Phillips a lot. He's a great prospect from Miami. The more and more I watch him, the more and more I like him. However, when he was at UCLA in 2018, he was good. And then he thought about retiring from football. Imagine a college football player thinking about retiring from football because in 2019, he had a few bad concussions, and some doctors were like, you might want to hang it up. Then it took him a little bit while to get going in 2020, and I believe over his last 5 games, he had 6.5 sacks. He's a good player, but I would rather have Gregory Rousseau. I'd actually maybe would rather have Jaelan Phillips over somebody like Kwity Paye, but at pick 17, it's a little bit too early, and I don't know if he's there at pick 48. So this better be a yes. I mean, I just hope this is just a yes. Are you watching the Super Bowl? Y for yes, N for no. I put this poll on the Raiders YouTube channel, and it was like 40% of the people said no, they're not going to watch the Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? I get it. It's 2 teams that y'all don't like. But you should, I mean, what better do you have to do on a Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, than not watch the game? So hopefully everyone is typing Y for yes. Shout out to producer Sam. But this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a Super Bowl watch party. Start time 10 minutes before kickoff. So Super Bowl 55. I know it's not a Raiders game. But, man, I love doing watch parties. And if there's any opportunity where I can hang out with the nation, I'm going to do it. I got to work no matter what on Sunday. Why not hang out with the nation, make a few extra bucks, drink some beer, and have a good time? So make sure you guys are ready because we're going to get wild. There's no doubt about that. It's going to be a Raiders tailgate party like you have never seen before. So, speaking of the Super Bowl, hopefully you guys can go ahead, get your money down, go bet on this one because Super Bowl is always a fun game to bet on. Now, we got an awesome deal going on, chatsports.com/Raiders. Promo code Raiders125 gets you 125% deposit bonus. The only way that you're going to be able to get hooked up here with a Raiders jersey is this, by going to chatsports.com and then using that promo code. If you don't do it, you're not getting a jersey. The other way is this. You got to put down at least 2 bets on Super Bowl 55. So if you want to bet on the game, you can bet on the game who's going to win. You want to bet on the over-under? You can do that. You want to bet on, I don't know, how many yards Tom Brady's going to throw for. If you want to throw for what kind of Gatorade is going to be dumped on the head coach. You want to bet on heads and tails. You can do it all. So if you want a free Raiders jersey, let me know. If everything I said is just way too much information, it's all good. Email me for the details on how to bet on the Super Bowl, how to get a free Raiders jersey at Raiders@chatsports.com. So here are my 3 bets that I'm putting on the Super Bowl here. I got Chiefs -3.5 against Tampa Bay. I don't really know who I want to root for, but I don't really know if I want to see Tom Brady win another one. So give me the Chiefs. I think they're the better football team. Mahomes, over 27.5 completions. Brady, over 39.5 pass attempts. The other reason why there's a part of me that wants them to win is because then I can sit here and say the only team that honestly built or beat the Kansas City Chiefs this year was the Las Vegas Raiders. That's the other reason why I want them to win. I get they had 2 losses, but in Week 17, Mahomes didn't play. None of their starters played. The only quarterback to beat Mahomes over his last 25, 26 games, it's Derek Carr. So I just decided who I'm rooting for in the Super Bowl. All right, Henry, what up? Would you rather, I can't read what that says, lick Trent B. Foot or see win the Super Bowl? Would you rather lick or see, I don't even think this is tough. I'm not going to lick Trent Brown's foot. I would rather see the Raiders win the Super Bowl. If you're asking me, would I lick Trent Brown's foot for the Raiders to win a Super Bowl? Yes, I would lick Trent Brown's foot to see the Raiders win a Super Bowl. Weird question. All right, let's go to Chris. What up, Chris? No to Julio because we need defense, but trade 2 defensive players, multiple draft picks per position we good at. Watson can't play defense. I get what you're saying, but quarterback is a lot more important than any other position on the football field. And can he play defense? No, he can't. But if you trade for Deshaun Watson, that also means you're probably going to move on from Marcus Mariota. Then you save $20.44 million in 2021. I'm a believer that you play football 1 year at a time. And with that $20.44 million extra that you save in terms of contract, go invest that into defensive players. Imagine if you could go get Deshaun Watson, save $20.44 million from cutting Mariota and moving on from Derek Carr and investing that into Leonard Williams. That's all I'm saying. Manny Villegas, should the Raiders draft Patrick Jones from Pitt? So I've done a lot more research on a guy like Jones. He's a good football player. It's just a matter of where exactly you're going to take him. If there's a guy from Pitt that I like, it's Paris Ford. He's a really fun and interesting prospect. Another prospect that I'm starting to fall more in love with is Carlos Basham, defensive end, I believe from Wake Forest. So he's an intriguing prospect to me. The issue is going to be, where does Patrick Jones go exactly? I think he's going to go probably day 2 round pick, but we'll see if the Raiders do end up getting him, but definitely somebody on their radar. So we do have a lot of questions coming in on this live show. Obviously, I couldn't get to everyone, and I apologize for that. But I also know this. People can't always join the live shows, and that's something that I think we need to work on here at Chat Sports. So how about this? Follow me on Instagram. DM me your questions. I'm going to pick my favorite ones, and I'm going to put them on next week's Raiders Mailbag. All right, we got Levine 67. What's up, Mitch from New York? What up? It's where my family's from. Draft Andre Cisco. Dude is a stud. I always think it's funny, like, y'all are always like, Mitch, look at this USC player, because I think you guys just watch a lot of Pac-12 football, USC football. New York guy saying, hey, go draft the safety from Syracuse. I'll tell you what, if you could guarantee me I only get the good from Andre Cisco, he is a phenomenal player. The issue is, this is a dude who takes plays off, and some of his tape is great, some of his tape is hard to watch. But if you're telling me I can get a guy like Andre Cisco, let's say round 5, round 6, I don't know if he's there, I'm interested in it, because something that the Raiders definitely need is to force turnovers. You're looking at one of the worst teams in all of football at forcing turnovers. Sisco at his career in 24 games, 13 picks, 2 forced fumbles. That's something I'm definitely interested in. Let's go to Danny 7 Raiders. Sign Earl Thomas, deal with him. If Earl Thomas didn't get signed after this past season, I don't know if he's ever going to play football again. Because for the amount of teams that passed on him, for the amount of teams that had injuries at safety, for the amount of teams that needed a safety to make that Super Bowl run, that decided not to sign him, that's alarming to me. So, Earl Thomas, I just don't think it's going to happen at this point. Untouchable Raider 1960. Would you want Shandon Sullivan from Green Bay? He's going to be a free agent. You would sign him. We'll look into who exactly we should sign. I've already put out my videos on the top 10 guys that I would go out and get. If you can go out and get one of those top 10 guys and have extra money to spend elsewhere, sure, look into it. But I'm going to go with the guys that I originally put out in my video. Keanu 410. Mitch, in your opinion, what team has the highest odds of signing Watson? Oh, and no BJ. So the highest odds of signing Watson, I think it's between 2 teams. I think it's between the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins, simply because of draft capital. You could trade the number 2 pick for the Jets, and they have another first-round pick. So, like, if they traded 2 first-round picks and a second, I think that's enough for Deshaun Watson. And then for Miami, they have 4 picks in the top 50. Though, I do think by Miami hiring their new OC or co-OCs might mean that they're sticking with Tua. So let's hear it. Name a player that the Raiders should go out and trade for. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I don't know what's going on with my nose. It itches like a mother. So if you guys want to type itch in the comments, go for it. Name a player that the Raiders should go out and trade for. If you didn't see my video that went out on Wednesdays, for those of you that aren't watching this live, please go check it out. I break down 6 big-name players that the Raiders should go out and get. All right, we got Big Easy. What up, Big Easy? How do you feel about Trent Williams replacing Trent Brown? Would absolutely love it. The issue is Trent Williams is going to stay with the San Francisco 49ers, I'm a believer. If you want a more realistic option at right tackle, Taylor Martin from the Carolina Panthers, over 1,000 snaps, 3 straight seasons, only 26 years old, and he's probably going to make about $14 million, which is what Trent Brown would have made this upcoming season. Brandon Jones, speaking of, could we get a second-round pick in a trade for Trent Brown? No, absolutely not. Is he probably worth the second-round pick if he's fully healthy and motivated? Sure, you're damn right he is. The issue is, the reports are he's 400 pounds. He showed no interest whatsoever in playing football. Nobody's going to trade anything for Trent Brown. Maybe you'd get like a day 3 pick, and I don't think that's enough. So you're probably actually, if you can get a day 3 pick, actually, you probably do it, because if you don't, you're just going to end up cutting them. Martin, what up? What are our chances to sign a guy like Robinson at wide receiver? It's one Chucky head. I would love to get a guy like Allen Robinson. It would definitely help out our offense, but in terms of spending money, you're spending it on the defense. Like, that's where you need to be able to improve. If you're like, we need a number 1 receiver, I'd rather spend big on a guy like A-Rob instead of going out and spending, I don't know, like $9 million on Marvin Jones. Now, if you want to go get Nelson Agholor for $9 million a year, I'd probably rather do that than going out and getting a guy like Allen Robinson, but chances of getting him, man, it's probably like one Chucky head at this point. So, appreciate everyone who was watching the show. We'll answer a few more questions, and then I got to head out of here. Ryan _CL, what up? What do you think about drafting Tyree Gillespie, the safety, out of Mizzou? He's a good safety, but I want either Holland, Merrick, or I'm trying to think. Or Darius Washington from TCU. Those are the top 3 guys that I want. Chris Smith, is Mayock on the hot seat this season? No, I don't think that he's on the hot seat, but it definitely was a disappointing draft. I know PFF rated the Raiders 30 out of 32 in terms of players that came out this year in the 2020 draft. He needs to be better. The Raiders need to be better, and they need to start hitting on players that they trade for, they sign a free agency, and especially in the draft.